Hey guys, and welcome back to the INSITE channel. Today we have D7 in the crosshairs. The Portuguese rifler has recently left Big EQUIPA and now embarks on a new journey with Guild Esports, heading into ESL Impact Season 5, where you guys did qualify through the Open Qualifiers, so you will be there at least.
Yeah.
Firstly, how are you doing? How's the new team going? How are you feeling heading into the new season?
Hi, I'm feeling good. I like my team. I'm confident. We are nice. Go support us. ESL, GG. I don't know the rest, but
Sign
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys actually playing this week? Because I know some people have games next week instead of this week.
Yeah, our first match is gonna be next week, not this one.
Okay. How are you feeling coming into that as like the first? Actually, no, it wouldn't be your first official because you guys play the Trade It. So how are you guys feeling coming out of Trade It? Just like the team, like what are the like the what's like what are you guys feeling going into it?
We are feeling actually. I mean, I don't know what they feel, but the energy I get from the team is
Mm,
that we're uh, hardworking people and we want to improve. So, like the traded tourney was very good for us to realize or understand some mistakes that we can quickly fix to make us improve. And I think it was a positive thing for us. So we are feeling confident and good, I
yeah.
think.
So even though you guys didn't do too well in that, 'cause I would have imagined you wanted to make maybe a deep run in that. I think you lost the first round. Are you still happy
We
that you had that?
we won against Fearless Cheetahs,
Oh,
and
wait.
then
Oh, is that not on HLTV?
that one is not there. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we lost against Big EQUIPA. We kind
Yeah.
of threw a little bit Anubis, and then our mental was very off for a map pick. So yeah, but we fixed some of the issues. It's hard to fix many at once, but we fixed, I think, the most important ones. That's good.
Yeah. Did it feel good to beat the Fearless? Is it Fear? So yeah, Fearless Cheaters because they're the core of my
Nine
team,
pandas, yep.
and it's something that I will come on to later because
Yeah.
from when I was looking at just everything, like it's these guys you can't get past them every single time when it's like a qualification match. It's always nine pandas and it's always like a close game. But in that first best of three, did it feel pretty good to finally beat them?
Yes, yes, it did. But the thing is that it's not the other, like the old team. It's like, okay, the main core, but it's not nine pandas, you know? So it's like kind of weird, but cool. And then we see Vilga there, and it's like kind of a combination between Nigma and Nine Pandas. So that was cool to win against them.
Yeah, must make you very confident going season. But I
Yeah.
want to draw back a second and talk about leaving Big EQUIPA because I think you
Yeah.
guys, like as I said, like you had done amazing, but you just never quite made it to finals. Like you always made it deep runs, like fourth place, that type of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
What was your reason for leaving Big?
So I kind of got offer from teams, and I was kind of curious to hear them out. Um, so I heard them out, but nothing was decided yet, right? Um, then meanwhile, the team also thought that they could have changes. Um, and I kind of volunteered, if that's how I can
Okay,
say. You know, like there was other things, but I said I'll leave, and I left.
okay. Do you want? Are you allowed to talk about why you volunteered and left?
I mean, I am allowed to talk about anything I want, as long as I'm not disrespectful, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to know, I can tell you.
Okay.
But it's not a big deal. There was no drama.
Yeah.
There were some things that I disagreed at the way we were working, like not in game, right, but outside of it, and I kind of just got fed up with it, and I decided to like that's like that's it for me. I'm gonna leave. But I'm okay. There's no bad
Okay.
blood between me
Oh
or
yeah, sure.
anyone. Like no bad blood. I love everyone in Big. I'm still good friends with the Zanna. I'm still talking with Jenny and Pauliiee. I'm still very like thankful and happy with the Big management. Like everyone behind Big, basically. I still have a very strong feelings for them. Like in my heart, you know. I still
Yeah.
like everybody. I'm
Okay.
good with everyone.
Yeah. That is good to hear. Like, it's never
Yeah.
nice to leave anything on bad blood after.
Nah, it's fine.
So obviously you've joined Guild now, but you're talking about some other team offers. Are you allowed to speak about some of the other teams that you might have heard out? And did you ever get to, like a trialing period with them?
I was just very sure that I wanted to stick with Guild Girls because I liked them a
Okay.
lot. So even though I knew that I had teams that wanted me to trial for them, I just refused. I
Yeah.
never got like to go to more official offers, or you know, I just got people talking to me asking, "Oh, would you be interested in trialing?" Or this team is interested in trialing you, and I just said no.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what made Guilds that team that you were like, okay, I want to join them?
The girls, I like them.
Okay.
It's a good vibe,
Oh,
and they
like it
play
was just
good.
pure vibes, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, they play
Oh,
good, and like there's, of course, every team has things that they have to work on, and that's what we are focusing on right now. And at the time, our focus was mostly the vibe and their like talent, and they're like all of them talented players, and um, like insane vibe with them. And also the
okay.
coach helped a lot at the time before he left.
Mm. How's it with a new coach? Because you have got a new
He's
coach.
cool. I like
Yeah.
him. I
Okay.
like him.
Is there any like differences or so like were you around when the coach left then and when they got the new coach?
Yeah, I was around. I was a bit upset when the first coach left because it was kind of unexpected for everyone. But we welcomed the new one, the new coach, with open arms, and he did the same to us. And we have all of us have a pretty sweet relationship with everyone. Like we are very nice.
That's really good to hear. So
Yeah,
yeah, because you mentioned like vibes and that was one of the most important thing that you really got on with girls.
yeah.
Is that like kind of number one for you when you're looking at a team? How does everyone get on? Like that type of jazz. Is that like number one?
Of course, I think that should be one of the main options, like not options, but like mm, focuses when someone is looking for a team, like, or yeah, because if you don't have a good vibe, or if you cannot express yourself and the team, if they don't understand you how you work, or you don't understand them how they work, it's gonna be hard to work together with people you cannot get along that well, you know. So it's important, in my opinion, that you don't need to be like best friends with everyone, but
Yeah.
you have at least to be able to vibe with them a little bit. And I personally have a very good experience with these girls. Like in the time I've been with them, we haven't had a single bad argument. Like everyone is super accepting. Like you tell them something, and even maybe they can feel sad about it or guilty, but they will accept it, and they will never like be angry at you. And if they are, they will tell you. Like it's super nice. Like I don't think I've been in a team where you can be this open to people and they will not be angry at you without like they will tell you,
Mm.
you know.
That's really surprising because like what we would come on to is that you've played a lot of Team CS and you've been around for a long time. So like
Yeah.
it's really surprising. This is the first time that you this is like the well not the first time but like the best it's been in regards to what you're saying.
Yeah, because of course every personality is different, right? And I have a
Yeah.
tough one in game. My personality is kind of tough. I'm not like mean, but I do have some things that might tick people off, you know.
Yeah.
But in here, they've just been like, they just tell me, listen, this makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable, and I'm like, that's fair. It's not the first time I hear that, so I can find ways to work on it, work around it, and vice versa. Like if I dislike something, I'm just gonna tell them, and they will be very open about it. It's not like we're gonna have a fight, you know. We're
Yeah.
not having fights. We're just listening to each other and understanding each other and trying to be the best version we can for the team.
Yeah, it's like not disagree when like you kind of go when you raise something, someone doesn't disagree with it, they just go, oh, like, or like try and explain why they did something. Like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, I accept it, move
yeah,
on.
and even if like I can disagree, they can disagree, but we're not gonna have a fight about it. We're just
Mm.
gonna explain our points of views and be like, okay, you have a fair point. Okay, you also have a fair point.
That
You
sounds
know?
that sounds
Yeah,
very
we
healthy.
yeah, it is. I don't know. They're
That's
nice people.
that's very rare to come by, but whenever I do find teams like that, I find it's the best. And I guess kind of leading on, so because you've played, I mean, I know you have played international, as we covered beforehand, but
Yeah.
um, being in like an Iberian roster, I hope that's the right word to use, like
Yes.
just kind of
Yes.
Spanish Portuguese.
Yeah. Iberian.
There's obviously you've all got similar cultures. How do you think it's sometimes quite hard to have that like good vibes and good friendships when there are those different cultures?
I've I've had that question before. Some teammates asked me like if the vibe is like very different, and it is different. Like, but it's not hard. It's like we in Portugal and Spain we are very hot-blooded. You know, we say we have our blood is like warm blood. You know, like you know, and they're like from Nordic countries, and they're more like they're not cool people, but they're like more cool, you know, more like
Chill.
peace. Yeah, more
Yeah.
peace. And yeah, so in the other team, with my like Portuguese and the Spanish teammates, we had a lot of emotion, like a lot of emotion all the time. In here, we also have a lot of emotion, but it's mostly positive because they're just chill people, you know. And in real life, like when we're in person, I just think it's just like personalities. Everyone like has nice personality, and in my previous team also, like in real
Yeah.
life, we were good friends in real life, so we
Yeah.
still
Kind
are
of like
friends in real life. So
yeah, okay. And yeah, like kind of the personalities exceeds the cultures. Like, got a good
yeah,
personality. It doesn't matter where
yeah,
you're
it's
from.
not like we.
Yeah.
I mean, we're also gamers, so that kind of is a culture, or
Yeah, that is a good point. Actually, yeah. So it was interesting. So you like you mentioned that your roster maybe were a bit warm blooded and stuff like that. What was it like when you added Pauliiee to Big EQUIPA? Was obviously not the same culture. Did
yeah,
she like was how did she fit into that
she was a
team
perfect fit,
structure?
literally.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, she was like the perfect, like, you know, if there's a last piece to a puzzle, that's Pauliiee
yeah.
in Big at the
Okay,
time, I think.
okay. And this might come off quite harsh, but
Yeah,
what what went wrong then? Because I feel like for Big, it was just so close to success so many times, and
I've had that
it just
question
was
also.
like
It's
I know like it's I don't want to come off harsh. Like, I can understand
no,
that it's like
that's
everyone
fair.
has been like what's happened like with this close, but like yeah, it's like I think you there was the 3 seasons, 2, 3, 4, Katowice,
Yeah,
you
it was
all
four
won away,
times,
and
three
it
or
was
four times.
yeah, and then 3 times against Nine Pandas. Just kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
talk to me about that.
So I think it was um like, how can I explain? It just reached a point where it just became mental. I think like we just had a mental blockage or something. We couldn't play our game against them. Maybe one player like individually could stand out against those teams, like both Nigma and Nine Pandas. But I feel like we never got to show our true like mm, game against those teams because of, I think, mental blockage. Even though we might have not admitted at the time, but I cannot find other explanation
Okay.
because I feel like we were a pretty good team. Like we
Yeah.
had like actually we were a pretty good team, and I think that it could only have been mental.
What do you think? Like, because I guess the obvious answer is it's because you were there before, couldn't get
Yeah.
past it. But what do you think was the reason? Were you guys maybe like, yeah? What was the reason? I think?
I don't know. Maybe subconscious. I don't know. I cannot pinpoint one reason. I feel like our aim would be off in the duels, or if it wasn't our aim, it would be like we were not playing as a team. And if we were playing as a team, then maybe some trades would, like, we could not get trades, or we could not read what they were doing, or even if we read them, we could not adapt. I think it was like we just couldn't play our game against them. I cannot find the reason why, but I think like we, like during practice, during other officials, like we did insanely good work, and we were a pretty consistent team. And just against that team in specific, we could not play our game.
Okay,
I
yeah,
feel
I
like
get,
if we
yeah.
had woken up the next day and played against them, we could have maybe won them like 2-0. But like that's just how it is.
Hmm,
Uh,
okay, yeah, that does make sense. And like I could be completely off here, but did it feel like maybe a fresh start? You now joining guild, like you don't have that mental block anymore.
yeah, of course. Everything is different. Everyone in this team is different, and I feel like, I mean, because I was with Big for like 2 years, not in the
Yeah.
organization, but with the roster for 2 years, and there was just many things, from those years, many good things and also some not so good things. And I think at the end we were kind of like we just needed to change something. I feel like,
Yeah. Well, they changed big because Ida is also being replaced, right? So they changed
yeah,
like a big part of the roster. So I guess,
yeah,
yeah, that
it's
like,
only Jenny and Zanne from the
yeah.
OG OG roster.
Yeah. Now you have joined guild. What are differences? Hell, even though you haven't been playing that long, what are the differences in play styles between guild and big equipa?
So in Big, we kind of have we used to have a very structured play style because we were together for 2 years, and we kind of we managed to find the perfect play style for us, and it was a bit more structured, of course. And for now in guild, I feel like we haven't quite found out yet our specific play style, but I do know that we play more reactive. We are more free, um, um, rely a little bit more on the individual sometimes. It could also be because we are a recent team. That I mean, it was just one change, but still, like with the coach change and the player change, like it's kind of a lot. So with those changes, we still have to find out what it is specifically. But yeah, we play more reactive individually.
Yeah. So how are you playing now with this freedom? How is it affecting your game
I like
style?
it. It's I'm confident. I just swing. Everybody just likes to swing on everybody, and it's good to
Yeah.
swing sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. So what are your expectations for this team now as we're entering this?
I have pretty high expectations, but I'm also realistic, and I know that this is going to be our first season together, and I know that for us to be like one of the best teams, to be at the top, we need to work a lot, and we need to um, like know each other way better than we do now, both as players, people, and like there's still a lot of work for us to do. But I do see really good signs in my team, and I'm really happy with them and to be a part of the team. I'm glad they like me also. I hope.
That sounds good. And
Yeah.
so with Guild, they have struggled, I think, in regular seasons. Obviously you guys had to go through the Open Qualifiers in this season because they lost their spots.
Yeah.
What do you think is be changing team now with you on?
I mean, I feel like I'm stronger than the previous player, and I feel like I'm a very vocal person, which can help our IGL oftentimes, and also like during CT side I'm pretty vocal, T side I'm pretty vocal, and I feel like I do a decent job, a good job. So I think I can bring a lot to them. Especially because I had a different experience than them in big, and a
Yeah.
little bit of that discipline. I can bring it to them
Yeah.
and have both discipline and the freedom, both of them together. I think it could be a strong thing for us in the future. I just forgot the rest of the question though. So
I was just say like you know, like they have struggled in the past.
yeah.
Like why basically like do you
Uh,
think they can't like what's changed now basically? I guess you answered that
yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I think that's changed. But
Yeah.
also, I don't think that their past season was bad. I think they had pretty close games. I don't know if you watched the results. It could have gone both ways. But I think that now, the times that they struggled, they won't struggle as much. Or, I also feel like, like they're growing a lot. Everyone in this, like, we are all growing a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be a good season. It should be.
Sounds pretty good. Yeah, I guess it is like Impact is really rough in the sense of like doors can be closed and you can have close games, but you just have to win. Like there's no like it's like 6 games, 5 games, you just have to win. Like there's just
Yeah.
no like it's very cutthroat.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about open qualifiers because I like must have been years, 2 years since you played like an open qualifier to get into Impact. What
Yes.
was that like playing? And maybe since when you did play, how has it changed? Or like maybe the quality of competition has changed on now.
Um, if I can be honest, I feel like it was easier than the first time I played it.
Oh, okay.
Um, Also, it's a different type of experience that I have now. 2 years after playing Impact every
Yeah.
single season, and always being in the playoffs or play-ins of the. I had a different confidence to come to this qualifier than the first one ever. Um, I felt like it was more of like a responsibility to qualify, and the first qualifier, the first time I played it, it was more like a bonus. Like I was just happy to be there. This time I had to be there, so a little bit of a different feeling. But of course, I was happy to win.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. Awesome. And so what I want to talk about is some of your history. As I did mention before, you have been around for a long time and like you played 1.6 and you've got like lands from like 2017. So
Yeah.
yeah, I want to talk about how did you get into CS so early back then, like playing 1.6 and stuff like that.
It was my family, my uncles, both of them. They used to play, and I used to go to my grandma's house a lot, and I would see one of my uncles play, and then sometimes he had to leave the PC for some reason. He would say, "Just play there a few rounds, so I don't get kicked from being AFK." And then I was just like move the mouse, and then I kind of wanted to play it. I was curious to play it, and then he just let me and my brother, he also plays since very young, try the game, and we just kind of liked it from very young age. So I've been playing Counter-Strike since I was 7 years old. I got my first Steam account when I was 11. My brother got it when he was 6 years old. Yeah. So it was still back then when you had to buy the CDs, the
Oh my
Counter-Strike
God,
CDs.
yeah.
That's how old his account is. Yeah, and then when I turned 11, my uncle bought me my own account, and then that's when I started really playing a lot on his PC. But I still
Yeah.
played a lot.
Does your brother still play? Does he play competitively?
Yes, he did try in the Portuguese scene, then his team just disbanded, and he's just not playing competitively anymore. But he's
That
playing
would have been pretty.
Faceit.
Okay, yeah, he's a grinder, he's a bugger.
Yeah, he has a higher headshot percentage, or almost as high as Scream
Oh, wait, what?
on Faceit.
Oh, he's probably taken my elo at some stage then. But yeah, so I'm guessing your family are quite supportive then of
Yeah,
like everything you do.
yeah, all of them. My grandparents, my mom, my dad, my
Oh,
uncles,
that's awesome.
my cousins, my brothers.
Does that make a
Uh,
big difference?
yeah, like, even like the more distant family, we have this group on WhatsApp, and every time I play, they share the stream, and then they're like writing in there, as if they were watching like a football game together, but they're just watching Counter-Strike. You know,
Okay,
it's quite wholesome.
that is like yeah, it's like the Portuguese seem similar enough with bands when it comes to like when it's like the Brazilian scene where they're like crazy.
And
Is it?
Portuguese is very passionate about
Yeah.
Counter-Strike.
Oh, that must be really nice to have like that backing.
Yeah, it's very
Like
nice.
yeah. So like you obviously played and you were playing at quite a young age. When
Yeah.
was the like competition idea coming in? Like when for you was that sign that you thought about?
I think when I was like 15 or 16,
Okay.
and I
So
watched
what
my
year
first
would that have been?
majors, 2015,
2015.
2016.
Okay.
Yeah, 15, 16, around that time. When I first started like watching majors, we had this thing like at my grandma's house with my uncle, and we would go buy like popcorn and pickles and pizza, and we would just watch the major the entire
Pretty
weekend
cool.
and eat shit, while watching it
Yeah.
as a like family. Uh, so that was pretty nice, and that's when I started like dreaming about actually maybe one day I could play a major. And I wanted to play like with a male team, uh, but I think it's gonna be hard. Uh, but I still want to play one.
Okay. That's I mean it's a pretty cool aspiration. And like you have made it somewhat true by like playing full time now and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
when did you first interact with like women's CS and what would it have been like back then when you first started playing it compared to what it is now?
When I first interacted with women in CS.
Or like more like the competitive side of it. Like
Okay,
yeah.
so I started like with the Portuguese team, and then they saw another team saw that I was pretty talented at the time, and that I was still young, so they could like take me in their team and make me teach me
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
how to play. Like I had the aim, I didn't have the brain at the time, so they kind of tried to teach me how the game worked, and I'm still very good friends with them today. It's a pretty wholesome friendship. It's been 7 years. Uh,
Not bad.
yes, and um, I made friends for life because of CS. Yeah, so that's my first contact with the competition. It was with Portuguese girls. They were
Yeah.
nice.
So like kind of what competitions then would there have been at
So
that stage?
I went to an amateur competition in 2016 with Defining Stars, female. And after that tournament, it's when I went to play with EGN, female, and that's the first team I went to an international LAN with, which was in Spain, WSG Iberia.
Yeah.
So first I played my first CS:GO LAN in Portugal in 2016, and after that
In
I played my first international LAN in 2017 with a different team, Portuguese but different team.
Because like yeah, because I remember looking at that and I remember seeing the dates and I was like, you must have been pretty young when you played those lands. What was it
I
like
was
being like
16, 17.
yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah. So like what was it like being 16, 17, playing like were they stage events or were they just
Yes.
so like
One
what
was
was that
not.
like?
The one was not, but the WSG was
Yeah.
on stage, and I was a bit nervous. And I was like, I didn't want the cameras to point at me. um, and I mean, you can tell that I was nervous because I played one map and I had 0.3 rating on that map. So you can tell that I was nervous. But I was so eager to play more lands after that. I was like, I need to have better rating. This is shameful. What do you mean 0.3?
It's just like you need to get better and better and better. And then, so when would you have started taking Counter-Strike seriously then? And when did it start becoming something that's like viable?
In 2020, I would
2020.
say.
Okay.
Or it's like end of 2019 when I signed with the Vodafone Giants at the time. That's when I started taking it seriously. That's because I started getting paid. And I was like, well, even though it's not a lot, but if I'm getting paid, then I should take it serious.
Yeah.
And that's when I took it more seriously. Before
What
I
was
was just
yeah.
grinding because I like to grind, but after
Yeah.
I was grinding because I was taking it serious, like as a job.
And because like I know the scene back then for like playing women's CS was not amazing, and seeing like kind of what we got now with ESL Impact, international lands. Did you ever think this was something that was possible, especially for you when you went to like first season finals? Was that kind of like a this is where we're at now?
Yeah, it was actually, I don't know, I cried when we qualified. I couldn't believe that we would actually travel so far to play like a LAN. And like our stage was next to the boys' stage, and we had not the same treatment as the boys had, but very similar. Actually, I cannot complain about it. It was just everything was so nice and sweet for us. Like, and they ESL always ask for like feedback, what they can do better for us, and just overall a very nice experience, a super professional experience. I never dreamed of having one like that in, like, you know.
Yeah. Does it make you feel better as well when you went to Dallas? Like you actually did pretty well as well. Like you made top four. You were the only team to take a map off Enigma for like
At
2
the time.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then that lasted for like 2 years or a year
Yeah.
or two. Yeah, so like did it also make it feel quite nice that like you went and you also held your own?
Yes, but no, because we could have won. So that's upsetting. But it felt good to win 16-7
Yeah, it was a
on
good win.
Ancient.
Yeah,
Yeah, I still
and
remember one fake we did. They all rotated to one side and we entered in the other one.
and you're just there all like that's the round that you do on land that makes it feel amazing.
Yeah.
Um, and so like kind of wrapping it up now. Looking at the future, does those experiences that you had in like, season 1 and with Valencia, does it make you want to get back to LAN even more?
Yes. 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 I'm made to play on LAN, not to play at home. I want to play LAN. LAN is
Do you
fun.
think? Do you think this is the season?
I mean, I hope so. I want to, but again, we have to be realistic. And
Yeah.
since we had, like, they had the roster change, roles changed, things changed, we have to take it easy and just be realistic and go game by game and not have too high expectations, but have some, but just not
Yeah.
too high yet. Like we go game by game, week by week, and we focus on what we have to focus on each week, and then we'll see. If we deserve,
Yeah.
we'll be there.
What roles changed? Did you change any roles coming in?
I think some of them changed something for me, like
Okay.
positions, some role changes, so I can play other places. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes okay. Well, that's really good. And well, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for joining me. And it's really cool hearing about all your history as well.
Thank you.
Because I think there's like not many people around that have like that much history. It's like 2017 first LAN when you were 16, or 2016 when you were 16, 17
Yeah.
years old, like, and then still playing at a top level. And I wish you the best of luck with Guild now.
I
And
mean,
I
I'm
hope you
still
can
young,
break that
right? I'm
curse.
23.
Fun?
I'm still young. I'm 23.
Oh yeah, well like you came up because I think a lot of the people who've been around in human scene are a little bit older and they started when they were
Yes.
like 18, whereas you started when you were like younger.
Young.
So you've
Yeah.
been around for ages. You're like, I'm only 23. Like I'm not that old.
23. I'm
Yeah.
not that old.
Well,
Sorry
thank
for
you.
interrupting, but I had to say
Oh
I'm not
no,
old.
no. I mean, like yeah. Like I think in esports, well, to be fair, in esports, that's kind of like washed 23. Like
Is it?
I'm turning 21, and I feel washed. Like like
Actually,
I
same. I'm depressed about it. Not depressed. Depressed is a strong word, but I'm
yeah,
sad.
yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Like I'm seeing all these people, and like I remember when I was 18 and good at the game, but yeah,
Actually, same. But the difference is that when I was 18, I would spend 3 hours on aimbots and
yeah,
empty maps, opening angles and DMing and like practicing spray. Nowadays, I just do bots until I'm comfortable and play some Face It. I
yeah,
think that's the difference.
yeah.
I
You
don't
kind of
play
like
3 hours of DM.
you also just like for your wrist. It's not good to do that. Like it's actually unhealthy to play that much
Yeah,
DM.
yeah, and your shoulders, my shoulder personally, because I have very bad posture when I play.
Oh yeah, I'm like a hunchback.
Yeah, I have a really weird way of playing, so it's yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to see that strange way of playing next finals in Dallas, I think. And
Yes,
hopefully you can
please.
break your curse. Because I think like
Thanks.
when I really looked at it and saw like how close you were all the times, like I don't want to bring it up and keep on bringing it up, but I felt
No,
so
that's
bad.
fine.
I was like, so close, and hopefully with the new team, break that curse. But thank you so much, G7, and good luck
Thank you.
with the team. And thank you
Thanks.
very much. Yes, well, thank you very much,
Thanks.
and thank you to anyone that's watched this far. And see you next week for another episode of Crosshair.
Thanks.